Access Africa travelled to Finland with the intention of bringing business and various stakeholders together in a bid to foster stronger ties between the African and Nordic regions. We speak to the ambassador of South Africa to Finland, and then we touch on some insights. Finally, the Department of Trade and Industry weighs in on this intercontinental partnership. My name is Yelang Pujenka, and you're watching Access Africa. The business collaboration between Africa and the Nordic region is promising and unique at the same time. Promising because it features two regions that have great potential to understand what the other lacks. Unique because at this point, both regions are compelled to play open cards with each other. Given their collective history, this collaboration presents Africa with the opportunity to become an active participant in trade negotiations. On the other hand, the Nordic region can embark on doing business in Africa with the hopes of accessing a ready market, a match made in heaven. How would you view the relationship between Finland and South Africa?
There is significant trade between South Africa and Finland. However, the trade has been more in Finland's favor, and we have seen that in terms of exports from South Africa to Finland, the key areas are fruits, oils, beverages, alcoholic beverages. We've also seen an increase in investment from Finland to South Africa in terms of energy. There's been a strong historic relations between Finland and South Africa that leads back to the anti-apartheid movement. During the reconstruction and development process, they significantly contributed to ensuring that we move forward over that period in sizable amounts. I see us moving forward in ensuring that we build mutually beneficial relations, whether it would be in terms of investment from the Finnish side or whether it would be in terms of investment from South African side, to make sure that both our economies, which is stagnant at the moment, could maybe get a boost in terms of growth.
When it comes to doing business on the African continent, there's only one man who's well versed in issues of corporate governance. That man is Professor Mervyn King. Let's go have a chat with him. Professor King, how did it come about that you're the chairman of the International Integrated Reporting Council?
I became chairman of the United Nations Committee on Governance and Oversight, and we, the King Committee, recommended in 2002 in the second report sustainability reporting, and then by 2009 we recommended integrated reporting because the International Federation of Accountants, it's the world body to which, for example, the South African Institute belongs, and the Global Reporting Initiative, which deals with sustainability reporting, of which I was then the chairman. We agreed at the United Nations headquarters in Geneva, IFAC and ISGRI, that financial reporting, although critical, on its own was not sufficient. Sustainability reporting on, for example, a beverage manufacturer, how they're saving water, which is the scarcest natural asset on planet Earth, It was critical, but without the numbers, clearly not sufficient. But when you look how companies operate on a daily basis using, we say, 6 resources: financial, human, natural, manufactured, plant, machinery, buildings, intellectual, systems, etc., and social capital, the ongoing relationship between the company and its stakeholders. And unless a company knows of the legitimate and reasonable needs, interests, and expectations of their stakeholders, then the way management is developing strategy, they don't know. They're actually guessing whether they're meeting the expectations of their stakeholders.
Going forward, Professor, what do you think the outcome of an Afro-Nordic relationship would be?
I think it would be fantastic, because the Nordic countries, as I've said, have always been ahead in their thinking about dealing with natural assets. So they had a realization of that you had to preserve natural assets, and you just couldn't carry on as usual. It's no longer an option to carry on business as usual. So the great companies are carrying on business, as I call it, as unusual. They've changed their corporate behavior, how they make things. They don't think just at the output, the product. They're looking at the impact that their product has on society and the environment. So, a long answer to your question, what is happening on our continent is that the continent is moving because it's a developing continent, and developed countries see it as a growing marketplace. It's developing as a stakeholder-centric governance model, taking account of the fact that natural assets are being used faster than nature's regenerating them. So you have to start conserving them in carrying on your business. You have to be able to answer the question, you've made so much money before tax this year, but how did the company make that money? Did it make it with a positive impact on society and a positive impact on the environment? If so, how are you going to enhance them in the years ahead? If they were negative, how are you going to eradicate or ameliorate them in the years ahead? And that's the new criteria for value creation today, not bottom line profit for shareholders. Profit, without knowing how it's made, could result in society and the environment making a huge contribution to the cost of a product.
In East Africa, Kenya sets the pace when it comes to intra- and inter-Africa trade. In regards to conducting business on the continent, there are some very poignant views that are held by industrialist and philanthropist Dr. Chris Kirubi.
My vision is that we grow in various sectors that are relevant to what we do. It's always important to expand either by acquisition or by innovations. And I believe we have huge opportunities in the whole of East Africa. It's no good having all your eggs in one basket. And the opportunities for investors for this region, number one should be our next door neighbor. And the neighbor is South Africa. I also believe we need to complete the process of COMESA, East African Community, and ECOWAS, and all of those organizations in order to bring a free Africa where we can all trade across from one country to another. I think it will help Africa, and many players in the world will want to come to Africa because it will be a huge market that operates. And seriously, if America can go to Mexico, can go to South America looking for opening markets, partnership, and now they are in Asia trying again to do the same. Who are we to keep our doors shut we are going to be recycling poverty.
Trade Invest Africa is an initiative by the Department of Trade and Industry in South Africa. The CEO, Lerato Matabohe, made time to speak to us, particularly about the Afro-Nordic partnership. Lerato, please briefly tell us what Trade Invest Africa's mandate is on the continent.
Trade Invest Africa was recently created by South Africa's Department of Trade and Industry. The mandate is to really facilitate South Africa's contribution to increasing the levels of intra-Africa trade and intra-Africa investments. We provide a suite of support measures to our business. Access to finance, different forms, whether it's insurance, direct project financing. We also facilitate access to markets, as well as non-financial support in terms of business seminars and dialogue to help business.
What synergies would you say exist between both regions?
I mean, Nordic countries started as agrarian economies, and to date they are one of, if not the most industrialized countries in the world. The African continent's fundamental growth base is agriculture, other than mining. So we need to get to a level as a continent where we, get to the next step of industrializing and replicating the Nordic model if possible. So there are lots of synergies and learnings that we can garner from the Nordic states.
Over 3 episodes, we've brought you highlights of discussions between Africa and the Nordic region. Focusing on innovation, technology, and education, we feel we've only just scratched the surface of what we believe could be a really good thing. Thank you for watching Access Africa. Till next year, when we bring you the final episode in this series, from me, Yelang Pujinka, goodbye.